Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I am a psychic medium. I'm a spirit navigator, and today we're going to be talking politics. But before we jump into that, I guess I should say my name. I'm Susan Lynn. Thanks again for joining me. Before we jump into the politics, I just want to say I hope you had a good holiday. If you celebrated, if you didn't, whatever it was that you did for the past week, I hope that it was peaceful and restorative. Okay. And I would just like to share that some of you follow my dog Zoe. And well, I had a vacation, right? I did a little vacation. I left town. I got out of Dodge, as they say. I ate too much. I keep continuing, but that's another story anyway. But I want to tell you about my dog's vacation. Now, this dog goes on vacation. She goes to a doggy daycare where she gets to play with other dogs. And let me tell you, we had an incident. Okay, so the incident is I didn't raise my dog like this. I didn't. I know how I raised my dog, just not my dog, but apparently it is. I'm going to blame it on her ancestors, whom I've never met. Anyway, look, my dog is, let's just say it like it is. She loves men. She loves boy dogs. And you know what? She loves boy dogs that are street dogs. You know, if they've been maced by the mailman, that's her man. That is her man. If they got pit bull in them, all the better. If they got 5 different kinds of dog, including pit bull, oh my God, she's in love. Anyway, all that to say, well, she doesn't like designer dogs. You know, it's not her thing, right? And then when a designer dog is a female and it's going after her male, well, you know what? Stuff's going to go down. Apparently, stuff went down, but it all got worked out. You know, was all worked out, but it was reported to me. So I'm just saying, my dog is a hoe. That's all I got to just say this. Like, I love her. I'm always going to love her. I just didn't know that about her. Anyway, let's move on. She had a great holiday. Let me tell you, she had a great holiday. Uh, Wow, I did not have that kind of holiday. And I'm kind of glad I did it because I'm not a hoe. But anyway, let's just move on. Let's stop talking about it because I'm upset about it, or I don't know, some reason why it keeps coming up. But hopefully now I've just gotten it off my chest. So, having said that, we're going to talk about something very serious, okay? Like for real. Um, so if you're new here, I'm channeling 60% spirit guides, 40% Susan. It is I don't know what they're calling it, a consciousness, a light consciousness channel. I don't know. Look, they take over the switchboard, okay? That's what I would say, because I'm going to start off by saying that I do this on every video, it seems like, when I'm talking about politics. And I start off to say, like, how many times do I say it, you guys? Like, I love Biden. Like, I always start off by saying, I love Biden. And I do. I actually love Biden. I would do things differently, but I love Biden. He's a good guy. He's an honest guy. He loves America, right? Like, I mean, behind Carter, may God rest his soul. Thank God he got out of this place before, all this stuff is about to go down that I'm going to tell you about. And I think that's why he left, actually, because I always knew when Carter leaves, either it's safe to leave. Like he can't do anything else. Okay. His earthly ties to this they want to say mortal coil. Isn't it shuffle off our mortal coil? Anyway, uh, once he shuffles off the mortal coil, then, there's nothing left he can do. He's like, I've done all I can do, kids. Y'all got to take over from here. So let's go back to Biden. So I always say, I appreciate Biden. I think that he was the man of the hour. I think that he was the president that we needed. I think he saved our butts. He saved our economy. He saved a lot of things. He stepped into the presidency when he was destined to do so. How many times did he run and not make it? Right? This time he made it. Why? If they, if the R's did all the same things in 2020 that they did in 2024, how did Biden, overcome that? Well, because he was destined, that he was 100% destined to be the president and to be the president at that time. And he did. He fulfilled his role. Now, here we are. And I just want to say this too, because I tend to get my channeled messages early in the morning. Like right now it's 5:30 in the morning. And they just downloaded all of these things to me when I was still in bed. And also I was talking to all these people that have crossed over, like Beau Biden, and Kamala Harris's mom. And that's what kind of prompted me to do this video. So Biden is working behind the scenes. This is all stuff that the spirit guides have said, even though Susan says he's not doing enough. Susan says he should be communicating more. I still, the human side of me still says that, because I feel like communication would help us be calm. However, I would say, and you would probably maybe agree with me, that we've all gone through the 5 stages of grief, like on turbocharge, and now we're in the I don't give a damn. You know, my give a damn broke down on the side of the road somewhere, and I don't care anymore. Like, if these MAGAs want to do this, then let them have it. Let them reap what they sow. So in that way, I think Biden has done the thing, right? He's kept us all in the dark so that he could do the hard things that needed to be done without us knowing. The spirit guides often say it's like parent when, the gerbil crosses over, you go to the pet store and buy a new gerbil rather than tell your kid, right? Like you just want your life to be easier. It's like, I don't want to upset the kids. Isn't that a thing that you hear all the time? Perhaps you said all the time, well, this is Biden. I don't want to upset the kids. Number one. Number two, there's something about, not wanting to know how the sausage is made. If we knew how our hot dogs were made, we probably would never eat them again. So this is Biden. Biden is saying, I'm doing all this in the dark because it's messy and it's scary and it's going to cause, what the words I'm getting is, unnecessary drama and unnecessary harm. Now, it's only unnecessary if you pull it off. If you go to the pet store and get the gerbil with the white spot, then you good. If you go to the pet store and they don't have the gerbil, you didn't pull it off. Now you're causing even more unnecessary harm, right? So that's Susan, right? So you can understand how there's like a little bit of a play here. Some of you would call it arguing, but anyway, I would say a dialogue. Let's call it dialogue. Okay. So, and this is probably why I switched over to talking to dead people for this video. Because for whatever, I'm not talking to them right now. Talking to them right now. Look, there's a lot going on you don't know about in my own life. Okay. So, okay. Why did I say all that? Oh, because Biden's doing the thing, right? He's doing you. I'm sorry. I tried to pick at him, but he's doing the damn thing. Now let me tell you what I saw with, I don't know why this morning, but Kamala's mom, and I meant to look this up before I went on this video, and I don't know her name, but she came into my awareness, my consciousness, probably because I wasn't talking to my spirit guides. I'm like, I'm not talking to the hand because y'all are not telling me what's going to happen, and I need to know what's going to happen. So they said, bring these people to talk to this woman because she gone crazy. Kamala's mom came in. Oh my God, I love Kamala's mom. First of all, I would be total, like, we would be friends. Well, I hope she would be friends with me, but I'd be friends with her. Like, I would totally dig Kamala's mom. So I went in her energy. I'll just tell you a little bit just to kind of get that energy flowing again. I was in her energy. She was telling me how hard it was to raise the girls on her salary and how important it was to look like you weren't struggling, right? Like, never let them see you suffer. Like, and I think this really is going to tell us a lot about Kamala too, right? Keep the cool exterior. Keep the cool exterior. Don't let people see how they're getting to you, right? So I do think you see that in Kamala, and I think this is important for where we're going, okay? Because I think that she's, we've all seen Kamala be emotional and joyous and compassionate, but we've also seen her be, the prosecutor, right? Like, look at 45. Like, have you lost your ever loving mind, right? So this is her mom. She's a lot like her mom. Her mom could be compassionate and loving and motherly and just wonderfully a mother energy, but she could also look at you like, do not try that again. Don't even think about trying that again. That is Kamala. So I went into her energy. She was talking a lot about she doesn't. I had to switch to Beau Biden because well, I had to switch. Beau Biden just came in. I mean, it was like open house. I don't know what happened because she's worried about her daughter and she feels like this is her daughter's destiny. And I'm translating because she has an accent, but it is her daughter's destiny and she will do it. She's telling me she will do it, Susan, because she never shirks from a responsibility. I think we can all agree to that, right? Like if it's her responsibility, she's never going to walk out on a responsibility ever. And so this is her responsibility. She's going to do it. She has to do it. And I think that, so when I'm talking to people that have crossed over, there's multiple levels. Think about a skyscraper. Okay, that's the thing they want to use. And there's the first floor. You walk in, there's the first floor, and then you got to take an elevator or an escalator to the upper floors. So that's how people that have crossed over communicate to us. The first floor, they've never used this analogy before. It's actually quite brilliant. The first floor is who they were in your mortal life, in your physical life. So I'm talking to her on the first floor right now. She's telling me about her life. She's telling me about Kamala. She's was telling me about how I don't know why this is important, but she keeps talking about it, so I'm going to share it again. How she, even though she didn't have much money, again, she tried to dress in a way that her clothes were clean and pressed and looked new, even though they might not be so new. And for some reason, this image she keeps talking about. So I don't know, getting chills. I don't know if this is in Kamala's book. I haven't read her book. I don't know if this is something that's out there in the public, but she's showing me, Kamala's mom is showing me this wallet. And the wallet was threadbare. The word she's using is threadbare because when the satin kind of fabric gets torn, the threads just break off. It's not like something you can sew. You can sew fabric. You can't sew this. You can glue it. She tried to glue it back in, but the threads kept unraveling. And for some reason, the fact that she couldn't fix this wallet was demeaning to her. Every time she opened it, she saw the threadbareness of the inside of this wallet and how it was, it reminded her, it kept reminding her of her financial struggles, I guess. But she keeps showing it to me over and over again. I don't know why. Maybe this has some significance that I just don't know about. And also the fact that she kept trying to repair it, but she could not. And she didn't want to buy a wallet because that was such a supreme waste of money, right? Like you're not going to waste your money on a wallet. You've got to pay the lights, you've got to pay the food, you've got to pay things for your girls. A wallet for her was simply not something she was willing to splurge on because that's the energy. The energy is that I would have to pay extra. This is extra things that we don't need. So I've honored you. I don't know why I was supposed to talk about that, but she keeps showing me this wallet. Maybe it'll make sense later in this broadcast. Okay. Now, so when I talk to her mom, she's saying she's just worried about her daughter. She chose now. So I'm on the first floor. Okay. Now I'm going to go up some floors, right? So this is where I talk to the same soul, but I'm not talking to them on the level of the human experience. Okay. I'm talking to them on a higher vibrational or spiritual level. When I go up a couple of floors, because really when I'm talking to her mom on the human experience, she's pretty emotional. Like I feel a lot of energy around my heart. She's worried about her daughter. She's worried about the stress that her daughter's under. She's worried about the how people are going to treat her daughter. She feels like it's unnecessary, like her daughter doesn't owe anybody anything, and that she should put herself first. She should put her health first. She should put her mental, health first, meaning stress, So I can't stay in that energy because it's starting to affect my energy. So with love and light, I'm going to kind of disconnect from that version of her mother and go up a level or two. And those levels, that higher knowing, that higher consciousness of Kamala's mom is saying that this is karma, this is destiny, this is everything that she came here on this planet to do is culminating in this role. I mean, think about it, right? She was a prosecutor. I mean, she was an adjudicator. I guess, is that a prosecutor? Anyway, she was a politician, right? She ran for office. She understood what it was like to represent people. She understood what it was like to carry the weight of the people, is what they're saying. So everything that she's done, including for some reason marrying Doug, because I guess he's like a tree. He's like her support. He's her foundation. He stabilizes her. They're giving me chills. I don't know why. Anyway, everything that she's done has prepared her for this moment. This very moment, you guys. This is December 31st. Is this New Year's Eve? 2024. So, and that higher consciousness of her mother, and there's some other energies with that, are saying that she's going to be fine. Is it getting darker? What is happening? She's going to be fine. She's going to do what she came here to do. There will be, I mean, she will suffer, physical problems, because every president does, right? They go in and they come out like aged tremendously for those 4 or 8 years, right? I mean, think about Obama, right? I mean, even really Biden. But that's it. She came here to do this. Okay, so I think, what they're telling me is, again, I could be wrong, but what they're telling me is she's going to do this. She's going to commander in chief. They just said commander in chief. I don't know how we get there yet. Let's continue this conversation. The guides always told me it was her destiny, but I thought her destiny must have been stolen. Well, it was stolen, but they're saying it's not over yet, because we're still in this. We're still in this. It's not over yet. That's just what they want to say. It's not over yet. Okay, I'm gonna take a deep breath because a lot of energy. Okay, so thank you. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna try to move on. I do want to say this when I was getting this transmission earlier, because this is important too. So I'm kind of going out of mediumship mode and going into psychic mode, kind of. I saw Kamala Harris looking at Biden with, I don't know, she does this thing with her mouth where she kind of bites her lip, or she doesn't know she does it, but she's doing this thing and she's squinting her eyes and she's kind of thinking, this man is crazy. Like, so she's sitting in the Oval Office. She's sitting in the chair. Biden is standing, leaning, kind of like sitting, leaning on the desk. There's other people in the Oval Office. They seem like advisors, but there's also someone in a military uniform that looks like a dark, blue or something military uniform. They're sitting there. The guy in the military uniform is tall, because as he's sitting, his knees go out and down. That's their symbol for this man is tall. There's also some women in there. There's a woman that looks slight, looks petite. She might be African American. I can't tell, but anyway, she's there, and she's a commanding presence. She's very sharp. So anyway, there's all the, I say that because she's important. She's pivotal in this situation. She's a pivotal person. Biden really respects her, but also she's got that like compassionate intelligence where she doesn't talk a lot. She's not braggadocial like the guys, but when she speaks, the whole room stops. That's why I mentioned her. She doesn't talk a lot, but when she says something, the whole room, including the generals, stop. Okay, so it's important that she's there. Okay, so anyway, she's got dark hair. So I wanted to talk to you about this because Kamala's looking at Biden, because Biden is they're hatching a plan. The words the guides are saying is they're hatching a plan, or they're talking about a plan, and the plan seems like crazy to Kamala Harris. Like, again, Kamala Harris is A to B. The quickest way between point A to point B is how she's going to do something. she's not really a game player. She is a, you know, FAFO, F around and find out kind of person. Biden is a Scorpio. He's behind the scenes. He's a strategist. He's let's manipulate, let's do this, let's push this lever and see if this person exposes themselves, which will create this lever to go off. You know, all these machinations. And Kamala Harris is like, I don't have time for all this. Let's just do it. You know what I mean? That's me, actually. So that's something, again, that I would often say about Biden, right? Like, I wish he would just do it. But Biden is going to go behind the scenes, and he's going to run 85 laps to do something you could do in one lap, but no one's going to ever see him run. No one's ever going to see him sweat. No one's ever going to see it happen. It's all going to happen behind the scenes because you don't need to know how the hot dogs are made. Okay. So she's looking at them like crazy. I mean, I just want to say crazy men. So, but the thing that I need to share with you is that Biden, and he's not doing this, he is doing it on purpose, but he's not doing it for the wrong reasons. There's a whole nother side of this um game, this strategy that no one knows about, that no one in that room knows about. There's another side of his strategy. This is the dark Brandon, right? There's another side that is going to make this all more plausible and doable because no one knows about it. Perhaps him, one other person, and a world leader are the only ones that know about it because, well, even though Biden can trust everybody in that room, he cannot trust the room. That's what he's telling me in my ears. He cannot trust the room. The room is bugged. The room is all these things that are flying around, you know, drones, balloons, they have listening devices on them. It's very hard to do anything completely in private. And for this, whatever this is about to happen, there is an element of surprise that is critical. Okay. So when Kamala's looking at him, it's because she doesn't know that. And he's not keeping it from her or his cabinet for nefarious reasons. He's keeping it from them for their own good, is what I'm hearing. Okay. So when you go into the energy of Biden and Kamala, they respect each other, they love each other, but they don't see eye to eye. They do not see eye to eye. And that is understood openly and with respect. Okay. So there's no disrespect here. It's 100% respect, but they don't get each other in a lot of ways. Okay. Now, so from all of that, I would say that she's going to somehow be the commander in chief. I don't know how, because again, Biden is keeping this things under wraps. Number one. Number two, there's their spirit, right? If you've a long time watcher of my videos, way back like last year, you would remember that the spirit guide said that, you know, you have the scales of justice, right? And I want to point out something that I learned, because whenever we see the scales of justice, it's in a statue or it's in a painting. They're always stuck. They're not moving, right? Well, a big aha moment I had is when my guides told me, Susan, the scales of justice are always moving. Sometimes the good guys win and sometimes the bad guys win, but they're never equal. They're never going to be equal. So it's just a matter of the tolerance. How much will humans tolerate of being out of balance, of the bad guys winning too much, of the, you know, bad guys? Maybe that's the oligarchs, right? Maybe that's the capitalist. Maybe they're, you know, this is where we're going into this era of eat the rich, right? And this is historic, but it's also astrological. So they showed me this picture of the scales, right? And the humans are challenged. The humans are trying to balance the scales, and they can't, for a lot of reasons. I mean, for one thing, once the power quotient is so out of balance, it's very hard for us little guys to get it back in balance. Because if you've bought the judges, if you bought the Congress, if you bought the Supreme Court, if corporations are people, well, how do we ever fix that? In the more out of balance they get towards those power centers, the less likely it is that we, the people, can rebalance the scales. Okay. Now, also, they've talked a lot about how the earth has a vibration, right? And our vibration is important because it's kind of they're saying it's our life force. That's important. But also, when our vibration gets out of whack, it's like the neighbors are playing the music too loud and you call the police. Well, our vibration is out of whack because the scales are too far apart. Humans cannot fix this. We're trying. We tried. We VOTED'd. We did the thing for Kamala Harris. We know we did. We know she won, yet she didn't because the power is out of our hands. We don't have enough power to fix the situation. So the spirit guide said over a year ago that they would come in and put their size 12 high heels, boots, flip-flops, we don't care, on the scales to help us. Spiritual, what they're saying is divine intervention is coming in. Divine intervention is coming in because we're too far out of whack. Now, we also, when we get too far out of whack and our planet starts to vibrate funny, like we talk about like the flat tires, like, our planet's got a flat tire and it's going through its orbit like, you know what I mean? That's jacking up everybody else's peace and happiness. So they call the spiritual popo. Spiritual popo is here. They're going to help us fix it because we can really screw up ourselves because we're a free will planet. We can do a lot of harm to ourselves and a lot of harm to the planet. However, the buck stops when you start messing up other people's existences, other energies, other species, whatever you want to call them, aliens, I don't care. Okay, so the buck stops there. So how this is going to get solved is, I don't know, because spirit is in control of the outcome, not me. Okay, but I switched to dead people because they know things. And this is what I used to do when I did do readings. I don't do readings, but when I did do readings, if your spirit guides wouldn't tell me something, I'd call up your uncle or your aunt and be like, hey, what's up? So this is why I stay in trouble. But anyway, that's okay. I mean, they shouldn't have put me down here. They didn't want spicy. This is spicy. So I believe she's going to become the commander in chief. I don't know how. I feel bad for her. And I have felt bad for her because instead of having this beautiful transition of love and light and all the amazing things that happen in those 2 months of heaven, she's getting a gutted, divided, unhappy country, right? But this is why it's happening. So back to destiny. I've done videos where I've talked about the wound, the karmic wound, or the Chiron, if you want to do astrology. But this country, this nation was founded on violence and subterfuge and horrible things. We have to atone for that. We're evolving. I know I don't have time for people that are negative right now. I can't do it. But I would just say for you that say we're not evolving, I would just ask you to please go to Wikipedia, open up a history book, whatever you want to do, and look up anything in the history because we are not the people we were when this country was founded. We're not those same people. We're not great, but we're not that. We have changed. Do we need to change more? Absolutely. But we are on a trajectory of evolving, okay? And to continue this evolving, we've got to deal with this core wound that we've got in our country around race, around power, and who has happened to have the power in this millennia is white men. Maybe in some other situation it was women. I don't know. Maybe it was frogs. I don't know. But in this particular story, this particular chapter of our human existence, it's been white men. And this is where we're going astrologically. And this is why Kamala Harris is divinely guided, anointed to be the leader of this country, because she's going to help us with our karmic wound. Now, first of all, you have to admit you have a problem, right? That's the first step to dealing with your problem. So we brought in Barack Obama, and he served 8 years, and he did some amazing things. But apparently, he stirred up the hornet nest of racism. And they're telling me he accelerated the plan of those Heritage Foundation, whatever, Harlan Crow, whoever they are, the Peter Thiels. He accelerated their plans, project, whatever. I'm channeling, I can't remember, all these things. So whereas I think they had a plan to take over, and you can see it, like if you look at our history, you look at how they took over the school boards, and then they worked their way up to the governorship. You could see it's there for everyone to see. But because of Barack Obama, they accelerated it. And then that's how we got 45. So, and it's like they're going for everything they have. Like they know that this is it. We are switching into this new astrological energy next year, and they know it's now or never. We either grab as much power as we can right now so that we can wield this power for the next 10 years, so that we can continue to change the dynamic in our favor, or we're done. So it's their last gasp of control. And here you have Kamala Harris coming in, who is the prosecutor, who is a Black South Asian woman of immigrant parents. This is healing the wound, but it's also going to debride. When you have a wound, you have to clean it out. You have to clean the wound out. You have to get all that, whatever that is, out. Might be debris from hitting the road, or might be, something stuck in your skin that doesn't belong there, right? We have to remove that. That's painful. Obama didn't do that, right? He perhaps gave us a glimpse. He perhaps prepared the ground for Kamala Harris, but Kamala Harris is the one who's going to do the real work. And it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be easy. She's a healer. They just told me she is a healer. She's going to heal our country. But it's not going to be easy, because if you've ever, how much do I share? I mean, I don't want these videos to go on for 3 hours. Anyway, right. Let's just say if you've ever been in the ER, had a kid in the ER, or had any kind of procedure yourself, you would know that sometimes the procedure hurts and you're screaming, or the child is screaming, right? But it's in their own best interest. You have to go through that pain to heal. Here we are. This is where we are. Now, I want to talk about 2 more people briefly. I did talk to President Carter just briefly, because he deserves a rest. You know what I mean? My God, he deserves a freaking rest. He doesn't deserve me peppering him with questions. He's such a gentleman and such a beautiful soul. But anyway, I just asked him one question, which was, I think, about Kamala. Like, is she going to get in? Because I always associated him leaving the planet with her getting in, because he was hanging on to make sure we were going to be okay. But then when he passed, I thought, oh my God, it could go either way. Like, he could have left the planet because there's no hope. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing left for me to do. Or he could have left the planet because it's all good. Kamala has it in the bag. So when I asked him, he said, it's not good. And I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. That's, I think, what prompted me to talk to Kamala's mother and Beau Biden, because I was like, Jimmy Carter says it's not good. I don't know if I can handle that. Like, I don't know if I can deal with that. So what I believe that he was talking about is, burning it all down, is the sort of the destruction. We have to be able to right the ship to be able to fix the problem, we've got to be able to eradicate the problem, or at least ameliorate or calm down or put in some sort of balance the problem. And everything is so out of whack right now that to do that is going to require some big changes and some big personal changes. Just, this idea that Biden can pull this off and make it look easy and put a bow on it and have an ice cream cone is not really not going to work. It's just not going to work. We're not going to come through this without a scar. We're not going to come through this without real personal sacrifice in some way. Okay, we're just not. So we're going to have a boo-boo. Mama is going to make it better, but we have to go through these personal sacrifices the guides are saying. Okay, and I think that's what Jimmy Carter was saying. It's not going to be good. It's going to be hard. And perhaps, and this is what Kamala's energy is saying too, it didn't have to be like this, right? Like, again, I think a difference between her and him is she would have perhaps put in a different person than Garland. She would have perhaps put all her chips on the American flag and said, we're going to do this whether we win or lose. We're just going to do this. We're going to fight these subversive forces, and we're going to throw all our weight into it, and we're going to tell the American people everything. Okay? Very different. Biden is like, if we do that and we lose, it's all over. Like, you're putting all of your arrows in one shot. I'm going to do it like this. So I've got 5 fallback situations because it's too important to put it all on the line. Okay. I think that's what Jimmy Carter's talking about, is this is going to be very difficult for the American people. I think we're going through a difficult phase. Now, having said that, I will tell you, I don't see 2025 being that difficult when we get into the summer. I feel like the guides are calling it easy street. I know it's surprising, but I'm planning events, I'm planning things, I'm living my life. I'm trying to, check off the list that my soul path has illuminated. Like, when I say soul path, I see a runway for an airplane and all the lights are green. Go. If we were going to be in some huge nasty, ugly thing, they wouldn't be telling me to do this. They would move me to another country where I could do my soul path. They wouldn't have me do it here because I'm a psychic, and I think I'm not going to be high on the list. And I'm also, have a channel where I talk about bad things about 45. So I don't think I would be doing this work, right? So I think everything is going to be fine, but I think there's going to be some turmoil and some division. And that's what I always saw. I always saw Kamala Harris being the law and order president, ruling over a divided country, putting the left in jail and the right in jail. And she wasn't particularly popular, but she was fair. Right? Now, I know she's not putting anybody in jail. I'm just saying that as president, she's not going to come out and say, you shouldn't have put those people in jail. If you break a law, she doesn't care. She does not care if you're blue or red or green or whatever. She doesn't care. You break a law, you go through the judicial system. If your peers find you guilty, you're guilty. And that's going to irritate the left. I'm just telling you right now. She's not going to be seen as friendly towards the left. She's going to go straight down the middle. And that's a lonely place to be. Okay. So that's what I've always seen. I think that's what Jimmy Carter's talking about. Now, let me end this by talking to Beau Biden, because I don't know. I was nosing around. Okay. Yeah, I was nosing around the Oval Office. It's like trying to find any information that I could. Talking to Kamala's mom and Jimmy Carter, and like I'm like at this point, I'm talk to anybody. Um, and Beau Biden came in, and I've never really talked to him. I've never really reached out to him again because peace and quiet on the other side. You know what I mean? Like leave these people alone. But he came in and he told me some things that were a little bit alarming. So I'm just telling you right now that I don't think these things are set in stone. I think this is energy, but I do trust Beau Biden. I'll say that. So he shows up. I mean, what a man, right? What a guy. What a soul. Just a lot like Jimmy Carter and Biden and Kamala Harris. Like just true North souls, right? Soilable. I don't know what the word, they cannot be tempted into um the dark side. So Beau Biden, the first thing he showed me, so I think he's going to be perhaps, maybe, I don't want to be too um presumptuous here, but he told me he was going to be my war correspondent. Okay, that's what he told me. Oh, right, right. So he kept talking about Tbilisi. Is that how you say it? Is it Tbilisi? He keeps talking about it. I don't know. Something is happening in Tbilisi. There's also earthquakes in that area, a lot of earthquakes in that area. Nothing is as it seems. Okay. You guys need to hear this message, please. I know that my channel attracts overthinkers, analytical people, right? I get it. But I'm here to tell you, astrologically and every other way, everything is smoke and mirrors. Everything is smoke and mirrors. Think about what we just said with Biden. He's telling the American people one thing. He's telling his crew, his cabinet, one thing. And then the man's got a whole nother like Scorpio stinger thing going on in the dark. Okay. And Biden is not who you think he is. I totally underestimated that man because they told me he plays up the grandpa thing. He plays it up to throw everybody off. Just put that in your pocket for later. So, Beau Biden, so things are not what they seem because when I go into Tbilisi and Turkey, I see smoke and I see fires and I hear run and I'm hearing explosions, attacks, and I don't know if it's in Tbilisi. I don't know if it's in Turkey. I don't know if the leaders that are on the phone making this happen are in Tbilisi. So you have to understand it's not, don't take these things literal. Okay. Please don't take anything literal right now. This energy is very much the funhouse mirrors in the circus. Which one is the real one? Okay. It's all real, but which one, but not one of them is the whole reason. This is a version of the reality. This is a version of the reality. And this is a version of the reality. Okay. I know it's crazy. So Beau Biden is saying, and I asked him, my ears, I asked him, I said, are you sure you're not talking about your experience? I mean, are you explaining to me your experience in combat? And he said, no, Susan, no, this is different. But I do see black smoke. I do see, I just see a lot of black smoke and these earthquakes and the war thing are getting conflated. They're getting mixed together, okay? Maybe there's an earthquake around a war zone, maybe there's an earthquake that uncovers an operation. An earthquake that causes something to be exposed that's visible from space, from satellites. Okay. Do you see what I'm saying? These things are multi-layered. They're just not, you can't just say, oh, there was an earthquake. There was an earthquake that exposed something that then our spy satellites picked up, that then let us know that something's happening in Tbilisi or Turkey that is actually the font, the nexus, the center of this thing that's happening over here, that you would never draw the connection. Again, what you see is not what you think it is. Okay. Now they're taking me to Iraq. They're taking me to oil places that would produce oil. So the Middle East. Um, he's pointing to something. There's I feel like he just showed me Ukraine. I feel like he's showing me Russia, Siberia, or something with an S. Maybe it's another city or town or country with an S. Serbo, Serbia? I can't quite get it. This feels like there's a K or a Q. Anyway, why are you showing me that, Mr. Biden? It's trouble. Again, my ears. He says it's trouble, Susan. It's trouble brewing abroad that's going to come back here. It's connected to politicians here. It's connected to the powers that be. It's connected to the money. There's money. Dark money is flowing. The other thing I heard was just now, American lives lost. I see a panel, like a truth panel, or like a Jan 6 panel where they're investigating something. I think these could be contractors. It could be soldiers, but also contractors. It's not here. I don't feel like it's on American soil. This is all happening in another place, but the connection is here. And this is the reverse of our wound. Okay. So we're dealing with our wound because our wound is that we had explorers come to this country and do horrible things to the native peoples that lived here and then bring in shackles, humans, Black African Americans or Africans here, or even Caribbean, whatever. I mean, slaves. We have this wound we've got to heal. Now it's the reverse because also America has meddled, the words I'm getting, in the Middle East and caused pain and suffering in these other areas for the reason of greed and power and control. So we're dealing with our wound here in America, but we're also dealing with our wound of going to other countries for nefarious reasons. So all this is going to be like your tab. The waiter is here. He's presenting America with the bill. And he's saying, you owe a lot of money. You owe a lot of karmic debt, not only to these humans in America that you've done wrong, and Asians that built the railroad. I mean, everybody, all these people that you've done wrong. You've also done wrong to these other peoples. And this is what Beau is trying to say. It's going to be exposed. Perhaps it's the CIA. Perhaps it's, like Iran-Contra or something like that where America's involved, but we're not involved. You know what I mean? And we go back to Kamala Harris. And is she going to be the one to say, mea culpa? I have some hard things to tell the American people. Parts of our government are involved in these things. Just imagine, think about Kennedy, think about Martin Luther King. People that speak the truth don't do that, right? And yet Kamala Harris is the true speaker. Biden is Biden, he's a Catholic. He can make it, he can have he can be very Catholic, but yet understand that the Catholic Church does some things, right, that he doesn't agree with. Biden is complex, that two things can be true at the same time. You know what I mean? And Kamala is like, are you guilty or not? What does the judge say? What does the jury say? I'm going to take the results and move on, right? So they're very different people. And I think that Kamala's here to be more frank and more honest with the American people about what is going on. Now, I think that one of the things that Doug does, her husband, is that he's an attorney too. And he's like, that's a line you don't want to cross. don't cross this line. So I think that he's going to help her really keep the guardrails in place. But even with the guardrails in place, she's going to do more and say more and be more frank with us than any other president. Who had the fireside talks? They're talking about the fireside talks. I think that was during the war when the president had to say, this is what's happening. Like, I need to tell you, this got bad news, got good news. This is Kamala Harris. I got bad news, I got good news. When I said she's not going to be popular, I feel like she's going to be beloved. I feel like for some reason, maybe it's the media who says she's not popular, because I think she's going to be beloved, like sainted almost. But the media is probably going to say she's not popular. So I think that's why I keep saying the party line of the country is she's not popular, but the spirit guides say she's fair. She's fair. She doesn't, think about that word fair and then think about 45. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about, because Beau Biden told me this, is aliens. Let's talk about it. So we have these drones that are drones, but I believe some of them are not drones. I did a video on it. I've told you guys, it's just not up for discussion with me. Even during World War II, we had the Foo Fighters. Pilots saw Foo Fighters that were, nobody knew what they were. Okay. Whenever I want to say Americans, so that's interesting. Maybe because I was just thinking about the energy, like Blue Book, whenever humans try to push the nuclear button, guess what? The spiritual popo, the spiritual police, the aliens come in and say, no, you're not going to do this. This has been documented. This is not up for discussion for me. Again, they don't care if we poison our country or our planet or we kill each other. They don't care. You cannot mess with the overall vibration of the earth that affects other existences. So in that way, they're going to keep us from going too far, whatever they deem too far is. One of the things that Beau Biden told me, and this goes back to nothing is as it seems, is there's this, because they can't push the nuclear button, right? They're not allowed. They meaning I don't know whoever this person that resides in Turkey, whoever, and also Putin, but these people, they're going to unleash. And we talked about this in the drone video that I did. We talked about this. Is this different? We talked about this in the drone video, that there's this new military advancement, military weapon that is that the humans always think. We always think we know the most. We are the apex predator. We know everything. We know more than God. We know more than the earth. We're scientists, we're engineers, whatever. Bunch of bull hockey. But anyway, they've developed this new weapon that has bigger consequences than anybody knows, because we don't know, because we're not that smart. And these consequences are like Pandora's box, or once it gets out, you can't go back. It's irreparably changes the environment, is what the spirit guide said specifically. So sometimes they give me like thoughts that become words, like I translate it into words. And then sometimes they say, use this sentence. Okay. So that's why I say sometimes they said specifically, because they say specifically use these words. Okay. God. All right. So in the chapter of Nothing is as it seems, and you're just going to go crazy from the dystopian craziness that we're living. I don't think they're the same thing, because it seems like this thing I'm about to, so there's two weapons. One weapon is they're trying to stop. That's part of the reason of the drones. That's part of the reason of we're watching you doing what you're doing. You're drones, but we're orbs. And we're watching you, and we're not going to let you do it. And we can become drones because we have a level of consciousness that humans don't understand. Okay? So they're watching that situation. Now, switch gears to another weapon. Okay? This weapon I know it. I'm pretty sure they're showing me Popular Mechanics. I don't even know if that magazine's still around, but I'm pretty sure that people know about this weapon. It's they're calling it an energetic pulse magnometer. I don't know. Y'all can Google that. I have no idea. But to me, what's happening is it's a pulse of energy that goes out. It's not the Havana syndrome. It's different. It's a pulse of energy that goes out, and it feels like a physical. You can't see it, but it feels like a physical car truck hitting you. Okay, and for some reason, it always hits the solar plexus. Like this is where they aim it. It's aimed at right above your belly button, your solar plexus. And when it hits you, it knocks the breath out of you. It can crush your ribs. It can kill you. It just depends. Okay, so now what I'm seeing was what Beau told me. Beau Biden told me this. He's very serious. So he told me that this thing is being used. It's against treaties or against whatever. I don't know. It's being used. I feel like it's being used in an area that would be arid, like Iraq or the Middle East. And everything's kind of brown and monochromatic, and there's some rocks. There are some rocks, big cliffs or rocks. The rock is like as big as, say, of like a car or a house. Now, the funny thing is, the rock, this sound wave goes around the rock. Okay, this is important because people are injured or die from this weapon, this machine. Okay. It's like the first time it's ever happened, the first time it's been used. Let's call it that. Or the first time we're aware. Again, there's this sense of we now know it's happened before, but maybe it was tribal people and nobody knew. There were no reporters. There was nobody there to say what it was. The soldiers that saw it were sworn to secrecy. Okay. I feel like it's been used before, but now it's used in a way that's public because remember what they said in the last video. The Time Magazine Person of the Year, I can get all the words in the right places, is the whistleblower in 2025. The Time Person of the Year is a black outline of a whistleblower. Okay. Now the reason I said that is because when this pulsometer, or whatever they want to call it, hits these people, there's a rock. And someone is hiding behind the rock, and they see it. They see it with their own eyes. They see these people who are standing there. Perhaps they're soldiers. I'm also getting the word Bedouin, Bedoin, I think, Bedouin. I don't know. I'm just saying this is all the energy here. I'm not just reading 1D or 3D. I'm reading 5D. I see it 5-dimensionally. So I don't know if the Bedouin are nearby. I don't know if the Bedouin are behind the rock. I don't know if it's soldiers that get knocked down. I'm just telling you all the 3-dimensionality, the 5-dimensionality of what I'm seeing, I'm describing all at one time because I just need to get this out and I'm channeling. And frankly, I just want to drink my coffee and have my morning. So somebody's behind the rock. They're not affected by it. It's a sound wave. They just keep saying sound wave. It goes around the rock. But because the rock is here and the people are here, they have clear line of sight. They can see the people, but they can't see what made them fall down. Okay? To them, it came out of the air. These people were standing there and then they fell down. It's like it was an attack out of thin air. This is important because these people think it's God, right? They think what could it be, right? There's no weapons. We heard no sound. We didn't hear a plane. We didn't hear a drone. We didn't hear a gun. The people fell down and they had injuries to the front side of their body, like crushed by a car that was not there. So do you see how this fits into things are not as they seem, but yet they really happened? Do you get the theme now? Do you understand what I'm saying? All for the next like 4 or 5 months, this is the theme. The people fell down, they got hit by a truck that wasn't there. Okay? Now, here's the alien part. This is all from Beau Biden. Beau Biden was there or is there. Is this in the future? I don't know. I think it's in the future. So, because various countries, perhaps even our own, need to cover this up for various reasons. Of course, our country would have a different reason than some other country. And it goes back again to like the people don't need to know how the hot dogs are made. We don't want them to freak out that somebody could come here with this machine and just start crushing us with air, with sound. They don't want us to know that. It's not good for the economy. It's bad for the economy. so so what happens is because these maybe the Bedouin, maybe they're these people see this and it gets out that it's aliens. And then it gets out that we're under attack from aliens because it is the perfect reason to describe what happened. And the Republicans actually love aliens. If you look into all the congressional hearings about aliens or UFOs or UAPs or the drones, it's all led by Republicans because this is a very handy scapegoat. And fear controls people. So this is perfect to control people. There's a thing you can't see that's going to attack you. And we're the only people that can protect you. So you need to vote for us. Okay. Now, this makes me sad because there are aliens and this isn't aliens, but here we are, right? Here we are. So Beau Biden thinks this is important. There's going to be, again, my ears, there's going to be truth councils. There's going to be, it's a hullabaloo. It's going to be a big hullabaloo and it's meant to obfuscate. It's meant to confuse, deny. It's meant to deny the truth and reality of what happened. And I feel like the Democrats are caught. For some reason, I'm seeing Hakeem Jeffries caught in the middle of, right, what do you do at that point? Do you say it's aliens? Or do you say, it's this rogue country that's got this weapon that really could change the order of the world, right? No good answers here. and in between those two things, aliens are starting to look pretty good, right? So, because then you could throw a lot more money into the Space Force, right? We now have a whole new area of our military called the Space Force. Why do you think all this stuff? This is all happening because these weapons exist and they need to hide it. And the best way to hide it is to blame the aliens. Again, I believe in aliens. They're not doing this, but they're not going to get involved in that because that particular weapon is not the Pandora's box weapon. It's unfortunate, they're saying. We're a violent species, they just said. We're violent. We're violent. We're trying to learn how not to be violent, but we're still violent. That weapon is not the Pandora's box weapon, which is what they're keeping an eye on with the drones and the orbs and whatever. It's not nuclear, but it's nuclear adjacent. So it's like nuclear, but not nuclear. It's like nuclear in the sense that when a nuclear thing happens, it has a lifespan. You know what I mean? Like 100 years, I don't know, 50 years, I don't know what it is. So it's like nuclear in that way that if we use this, it's going to open up that Pandora's box, and that those molecules or that energy is, you can't put it back in the box, and they don't want us to do that. Okay, does that make sense? So what else does Beau Biden want to say? I just heard him say be safe, but I don't know if that's something he said to people. Like, It could be something he said all the time, or else I need to be more careful. Or maybe Americans need to be more careful. I don't know. What did you mean by that, Beau? Take care. He means take care. Just take care. Take care of your health, take care of your mental health, take care of your physical health. Take care, because in the end it's humans. It's humans that make the difference. Every human makes a difference. Even your energy. Just you and your energy, you're a pinpoint of light wherever you are. You add to the greater light of the world, of the whole earth. And so that's important. Um, he's showing me cleaning like your headlights. You know how they get foggy? But he's doing this, like clean your crown chakra, like clean your light. Like he's showing me we are all lighthouses. We're all lighthouses. And he's like, clean it. It's dusty, clean it up. Clean, like wash all the windows on your lighthouse, clean your lighthouse so that you can shine your light. Because every single one of us matters, no matter how old we are, how young we are. It doesn't matter where we live. All of us matter. If you think about all these lights around our globe, and then you think about those dark lights, the people that operate in the darkness, wantingly, they're choosing to be in the dark. More light is needed. There's more of us anyway. There's more light. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But there is like a war. My ears again, because I'm hearing explosions. There is like a war somewhere that we could be drawn into, or NATO could be drawn into, more likely. Again, it's a diversion. It's a diversionary tactic to draw our attention away from something, but it also gives us an opportunity to deal with our wound, to deal with the fact that, should we be in this country? I think he wants me to stop talking. Okay, what else? Okay, the last thing I'm going to say is everything is going to be okay. How do I know? Because they're playing me a song in my head for 2 whole days, nonstop. Everything is going to be okay. It's one of the bridges or the stanzas or the lines in this song is, everything is going to be okay. Sometimes when they do that, I think, uh-oh. You know what I mean? Like, I think everything is okay. So if you're telling me everything is going to be okay, then I must be getting ready to go through something in which I'm going to think, is everything okay? Welcome to my neurotic world. But it doesn't matter, because the spirit guides are saying everything is going to be okay. Hopefully what I told you today is illuminating, meaning you have more knowledge than you did before. Hopefully it explains maybe some potentials, because nothing is written in stone. Everybody's maneuvering to try to do what it is that they want to do. The dark is maneuvering, the light is maneuvering. There's more of us. Somehow bring them into tolerance, right? Not so out of whack. We're going to come back into tolerance. Anyway, I'm going to stop yammering. Let me know what you think of this video down below. Please watch my Wisdom on Wednesday videos. They are free. They will help you understand all of this. If you're like, I don't understand. Why is my life crappy? Why is my life this or that? Please watch those videos. They're free. You can go to my main YouTube channel by clicking the logo, and you can go to playlist and you can watch for free over 100 videos that will help you deal with this energy. Also, I have classes. I have a class coming up in 2 weeks on manifesting money. Everybody could use more money. Let's go into 2025 like a boss, right? Let's do it. Regardless of what's happening, it doesn't matter. When it gets down to it, you still got to pay your bills. You still have to show up in your life. Are you going to show up in your life happy, depressed, sick, healthy, wealthy, or poor? It's really about personal responsibility. Yes, the economy affects you, but if you, because you know what's going on, if you know what's going on, you can raise your vibration, or get your way through it. They're telling me in 2008, some people came out millionaires. Some people lost everything. It's all about your vibration. It's all about following your guidance, you know, getting that guidance. This is not a good time to make that purchase. This is a good time to make that purchase. All those free videos on Wisdom on Wednesdays will help you do that. On top of that, I have classes. Check out my website, SusanLynnMedium.com. The class coming up in 2 weeks is only $47. I'm teaching it with Afefe Tahimba with Touched by Tarot, who's amazing. If you're not watching her channel, do yourself a favor and check out Touched by Tarot on YouTube. Touched by Tarot. Okay? I'm going to let you guys go. Take really good care of yourselves. I'll see you again real soon. And everything's going to be okay. For entertainment purposes only,